Viewer note: this story is purely fictional and intended for entertainment purposes only. However, some content may be disturbing to certain audiences. Viewer discretion is advised. Chapter 24: Artificial Intelligence and the Changing Society. Jupiter stared at the floating 3D virtual interface in front of him. His fingers flew across an invisible keyboard, lines of code and cascading data streams scrolling rapidly across the screen, only to be swiftly reorganized, analyzed, and verified under his touch. Right now, he had 2 days a week of internship at the Dragonia Country Cybersecurity Center. This place was the live training ground for the Eastern node of the Supreme Council's Global Defense Network, the front lines of technology, and the beating heart of future defense. Around him, other teens, just like him, were immersed in their own missions. The only sounds were the soft glow of holograms and the occasional quiet exchange of technical ideas, breaking the focused silence. Simulation attack package #47, defensive sequence verified. A crisp system notification chimed. Jupiter let out a quiet breath and leaned back in his chair. From beside him came a soft chuckle. It was Aji, the kid sitting next to him, who had just cracked a more complex penetration simulation. Another one? Ah. G raised an eyebrow, smirking. Guess being on the council's key training list ain't just for show. His fingers never stopped, still fine-tuning his firewall parameters. Jupiter smiled, but spoke honestly. Lucky, I guess. This attack pattern had a similar signature in the database, but his gaze remained sharp, scanning the dense flow of data on screen. Because he knew AI had already taken over the bulk of basic protection and analysis. But kids like him, the so-called core of the future defense line, their job was to find the hidden, deviously clever new threats lurking within AI's logic blind spots. Threats that could be exploited by what some still called beastified humanoid entities. Seriously. Ah. G said without looking up, voice thoughtful. We've got it way better than those old world folks. No need to grind out repetitive, boring work just to survive. We get to do stuff we actually like, and that actually challenges us. My dad said they used to call it, what was it, 996? He made a face. Sounds exhausting just hearing it. Jupiter nodded, but didn't reply. His eyes stayed locked on a tiny anomaly in the data stream, because he knew human value had been completely redefined. Doctors relied on AI to diagnose most common illnesses, but those rare, complex conditions tied to new forms of consciousness still needed top-tier research teams. Judges and lawyers handled routine disputes faster than ever, but crafting fairer, more civilized rules, that was the job of the Supreme Council. As for those ordinary jobs from the old days, automated systems had long since taken over. Now, the world valued innovative thinking, mastery of craft, compassion and care, strategic decision-making, and even the ability to cook a meal that warms the heart. These were the real hard currency, the true symbols of respect. No more monopolistic conglomerates. Only individuals who earned admiration through genuine skill and contribution. Jupiter also spent time at the community care center, one of his favorite places. He often visited a little girl named Xiao Yu, who just lost her grandmother. The atmosphere there felt like something out of an old book, a real, extended family. Professional guardians and smart care AIs worked together. Laughter filled the sunlit rooms. He even saw an elderly aerospace engineer, once a titan in Dragonia Country's space program, now with silver hair, but sharp as ever, patiently guiding a group of teens as they assembled a model of a microsatellite. The word retirement doesn't exist anymore, Jupiter thought. Only natural transitions and ongoing contributions, but that piece was interrupted just like that during one ordinary mission. Jupiter's fingers hovered mid-air. A signal fragment extremely faint, unusually structured, and encrypted had just flickered across his monitor. So fast it could have been a glitch, but it was clearly trying to bypass the core Supreme Principle Protocol validation layer. And its target? The neural regulation system interface of a regional medical center. That system was deeply integrated with citizens' vital signs and consciousness states. If breached, the consequences would be unthinkable. Ah, gee, Jupiter said, voice low and tense. Ai looked up from his screen. Check my history cache. Coordinates Alpha 7, timestamp 1000, 374.85. Jupiter quickly shared the captured data fragment, that signal fragment. It's not like any known test package. Ah, G's expression turned serious in an instant. His fingers danced through the air, pulling up deep analysis tools. That encryption, non-standard, has echoes of old-world darknet protocols, but way sneakier. It's trying to touch medical core systems? Who the hell's bold enough for that? The two locked eyes, both seeing the same quiet dread. Ever since the human civilization security and defense forces cleared out the chaos of the old era, openly active, beastified humanoid entities had all but vanished. But that didn't mean the threat was gone. This kind of stealthy probe targeting life support systems, it carried a familiar, deeply unsettling malice. Report it? G asked, finger hovering near the emergency comm button. Jupiter took a deep breath, then shook his head. Double check first. He had to know, was this just system noise? A random glitch? Or was it the darkness, reaching out again? I'm Jupiter, he thought silently. I have to protect this world like Jupiter guards the Earth. Protection was never just a word. Out there, in the depths of the data ocean, a silent hunt had already begun. And the trail of that signal? It seemed to lead toward a section of the network marked as low activity, an old industrial zone node. Theoretically, it should have only held dormant legacy devices, but Jupiter knew the real threats always hide deeper than you'd ever think.